If you don't want to be one of those riders who have to walk up the steep climbs on event day next year, then listen up. Last year I completed the Fred Whitton without needing to walk up any of the climbs, including 33% Hardknott Pass, and that was with me weighing 89 kg and the bike weighing 12 kg. In this video I will show you 3 main things which helped me complete the Fred Whitton without needing to walk any of the climbs. Number 1 is you want to do regular 20-minute power efforts. This is where you can either do it on the turbo, you could do it on the road, be it either on a flat road or on a hilly road, but you need somewhere where you can pedal non-stop for 20 minutes. Now the aim is you're going to try and go as hard as you can for that time and try and keep the power consistent. This is really good on a turbo because you can use the erg mode and really control the effort. If you're out on the road or not using erg mode on the turbo, you're looking for an 8 or 9 out of 10 effort. Now the reason why this is so important is it improves your lactate threshold. And that is, you know, when you're going up a climb, you're going okay and then suddenly your legs just give up on you. That's your legs building up too much lactic acid in your muscles and it just giving up. By doing 20-minute efforts, working really hard, over time your lactate threshold will increase, and that will mean you'll be able to hold the power for longer, and if not even hold higher power, which when you go and do big climbs on big event days, it's going to be super important. So for number 2, you need to create training routes which mimic your challenge. So for my example here, I'm going to use 2 events which have the same climbing. So we're going to use Hardknott Pass with the Fred Whitton and the Coast to Coast, which I'm going to be riding this year with Velo 29. Now Hardknott Pass comes after 93 miles in the Fred Whitton with 8,000, 9,000 feet of climbing. So you are reaching Hardknott Pass when you are already very fatigued and tired. Whereas if you're doing the Coast to Coast, Hardknott Pass is still in that route, but it's after about 10 miles. It's right at the beginning. So you're not going to be anywhere near as fatigued. So when you are planning your training ride, what you want to do is you want to try and place your hard climbs in roughly the same part of the ride as your challenge. So let's use an example I did last year. So I was training for the Fred Whitton and I did a training ride in Snowdonia, and I picked my hardest climb as the Cowlyd. Now if you haven't seen the Cowlyd is ridiculously hard, arguably more difficult than Hardknott Pass. If you'd like to see a video on that, I will link it in the description from my series Climbed and Rated. Now I planned it towards the end of my training ride, but also during the Fred Whitton there's lots of climbs beforehand, and in Snowdonia there are lots of other climbs as well. So I got a similar sort of route, and what that did for me is it helped me get the confidence that I can do it, or if I failed, it also helped me, right, this is what I can and cannot do, so I know what I need to work on in my training. And I did that 3 or 4 months before the Fred Whitton, so that gave me time to work out, right, this is what I'm good at, this is what I need to improve at. And then I did another route similar where I had climbs later on, and what that will do, that will get you both mentally and physically ready for the climb. And the third, and probably the most important one for me, is get very easy gearing. Now when I was going around the Fred Whitton, I wasn't very fast, but I was adamant I was not going to walk up any of the climbs. And that was one of the reasons why I was very keen on having extremely easy gearing. Now when I was on Hardknott Pass, there was probably over 80% of the people there at that point who were walking. When I was looking at their gearing looked so much tougher than mine. There was people I was walking past who was clearly fitter than me. They were lighter, you could tell they looked strong, but their gearing was just not suitable. Now what I have is I have an 1142 on the back, and on the front I have a Shimano GRX 4630. Now that enables me to have really easy gearing, and I was able to get up the climb with a cadence of around 70. For the same speed, if I had a 3434, which would be considered easy gearing by normal road bike standards, my cadence would have dropped from 70 down to about 45. Now, a cadence below 50, especially when you're already fatigued, is going to be so difficult to maintain, if not arguably impossible, unless you are extremely experienced, light and strong. Now, one of the things you may be wondering is, how did I fit such a big cassette on the back? Now, my derailleur at the back was only able to fit an 1134. I didn't change the derailleur. I spoke to my mechanic and he was able to fit in a hanger extender. So I'm still using the same Shimano Tiagra shifters and derailleurs. I've just got that little hanger extender which has enabled the derailleur to take the much bigger cassette, and that's just been game changing. I can't put into words how important that will be on your big event day if you are worried about getting up these steep climbs. So if you follow these 3 training and bike setup tips, I have a good feeling that you will get around your event without needing to walk up any of the climbs, as long as you put the hard work in beforehand. If you would like to watch my Fred Whitton vlog from last year, that will be just here. Or even if you want to watch my training ride in Snowdonia, which had the Cowlyd in, that will be just here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Up another climb on 2 wheels.